And we're off to the races. Guys, how are we doing this evening? As you know, every week I try to bring you such fascinating, colorful, awesome, stories that I regale. And I love retelling stories. I'm a storyteller. At the core, I'm an actor, a podcaster, a singer at times when I'm in the shower, that is. And I like to showcase all the friends that I've made over the years, just show off, just say, hey, I know so-and-so and so-and-so and whatnot. My next guest, holy mother of God, she has done so much. She's super gifted actress. She's a comedian. She's a bass player. Get this, to an 80s cover band that's off the charts, through the roof. Holy shit, to the stratosphere. I'm talking about the Breakfast Club, guys. And if you haven't seen them yet, they're making a splash across Hollywood Boulevard, all throughout LA. I mean, they're just badass. I know that firsthand because I was there. I also went to a comedy club, and that's where I met her, believe it or not. She's ultra talented. She's super cool. Help me welcome to the stage, Carla Betz. There you are.
Hey.
Oh, my God. I thought I accidentally hit the eject button. You're going to go.
Nope, here I am.
There you are. Oh, my God. Thank you for doing this. It's so great to see you, Carla.
Good to see you too. My pleasure.
Jesus, it looks like, you know what, to be honest with you, from my vantage point, it seems like you're on TV and you're like working. You're like acting.
Sitting in my bedroom.
Needless to say, I mean, you're ultra talented. We're going to get through that. We're going to delve deep into it, to the depths of the whole thing, down the burrow and across and away. But I wanted to ask you, because I saw you, I met you, first of all, with my boy David, who happens to be the drummer for your awesome band, the Breakfast Club, and I met you at a comedy club, Flappers, in Burbank. Can you tell us what the hell were you guys doing there? Like, what's up with that?
Well, David had actually come to see my musical comedy duo perform there, and he won the class that we all met in. He won tickets to that comedy intro class. So I told him I'd go do it with him, and that's where we all met. And yeah, Flappers is great. I love that place. They have great shows. I've done a lot of stuff there. I did the Burbank Comedy Festival, which was a blast. Yeah, it's a good little place.
Yeah, I hear it's great stuff. So, I myself dabbled a little bit in stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But I love it. Now, you have this great duet of sorts. You're like the half duo of a great band. The songs that are cringy or that embarrass.
The songs that embarrass our families.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
The songs
they are kind of cringy.
Yeah. Not yet. But they embarrass your family. So tell me, who thought of this like ingenious kind of funny thing? Like, was it just by sheer coincidence? Like, you guys started doing this thing where you were just playing a song, or where did you guys meet? And let's just talk about that multitude of things you got.
Well, my writing partner, Nicole Foti, she and I met in the Improv Conservatory at Second City right before the world shut down, like right before the pandemic. And we connected and bonded and had fun doing improv together. And then we both found out that we played ukulele, and she had written she had a hilarious song idea about dicks, hence the name Songs That Embarrass Our Families.
Richards, yeah.
Yes, about Richard. So during the pandemic, we basically spent the pandemic like writing songs together, and it honestly like saved my creative soul during the pandemic. And we built a YouTube channel and Instagram and just posted, goofy songs through the pandemic. And then the world opened up and we started doing live shows, and it's been a blast. So
I bet you have a YouTube as well, right? You have a YouTube, and it's good. It's doing good. The following is great. Congratulations on that, Carla.
Thank you.
Jesus. So when do you find time to sleep and eat?
I am a little all over the map. No, that's true, because between acting, music, comedy, my cat, it is
Let me see your cat. Why don't you show the cat? Let's showcase your cat. It's so adorable.
I have a cat named Mouse. Now that I want her to come over here, she's going to play hard to get.
Oh, okay.
I have to ignore her.
Cat and mouse.
Yes, I have to ignore her, and then she'll be all over me.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
let's backtrack. Let's go back to your you spawned out of a beautiful place in Washington called Woodinville or Woodinville?
Yes, Woodinville. It's like a
Uh-huh.
suburb of Seattle, about 20 minutes outside of Seattle.
Okay. Did you go to that high school too, the Woodinville High School?
Yes, I did.
What? There's only like there's only like 10 people in that city, huh? It's like 15,000, 16,
Well,
maybe.
it's grown now. It was a lot smaller when I lived there, but it's actually it's gotten pretty big there. Every time I go home, like places that used to
Yeah.
be fields are now, shopping malls. So, but it's nice though. It's a
Yeah.
nice suburbia, a
Quaint kind of a
clean.
little place.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. And how was high school for you? Like, take us through an ordinary day. Like, you put yourself together, you call your friends, you talk about
Well,
the boys.
I was I was a cheerleader.
Hey, I would have never have, what do you call it, imagined that. Like, you never,
Yeah, I
absolutely not
had
in
big
100 years.
blonde hair and like a fake tan, and I was a
Wow.
cheerleader. But then I moved down to Southern California and joined a punk band and like cut all my hair off and dyed it pink and pierced my nose and like went through that whole phase too.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's crazy,
yeah,
man. That is so rock and roll. When
yeah.
you're in high school, did you participate in plays like theater? Did you go about it?
Yeah. I grew up doing children's theater, and then I actually did a national tour with like a children's theater troupe when I was
14?
14, which like really solidified like, oh, I love this. This is what I want to do.
Oh my God, bless
Yeah.
you. That's so cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And I
it's
still love theater. I know this is more of a film TV town, but I try to do a play a year is like my goal. I love theater.
get on the boards.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I think it's beautiful because I can't say this enough. Like, it's like jazz, like each time it's gonna be different. You're
Yeah.
gonna pop off with a whole different deal entirely.
Yeah.
So it's always important to go to every show because it's always magical in more
Yeah.
ways than one. So you've been on like a slew of things. Like I have here Criminal Minds,
Mhm.
90210. You
Yeah.
were on. I did see some of your trailer, which is really fantastic.
Oh, thank
You
you.
play yeah, you play like a mom in one of the in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
I
And then
played a lot of moms lately. Yeah. I
ah,
played a murdered mom as like my new
yeah,
category.
I think that fits you best, given the talents and you being a rock star.
Oh,
I think
thank
that
you.
yeah, that suits you best.
Yeah, I've
Um,
gotten killed a
so
lot, so it's good.
So, Carla, needless to say, I do want to point this out. As you know, I have ADHD to the hilt, and you just finished confessing to me that you're also, in addition to being a killer, in film, you also have ADHD. So, welcome to
Yeah,
the game. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so I saw. One of the things that stood out to me, besides the obvious, you guys are phenomenal. You have a great front woman. She's
Oh, she's
tearing the
so good.
freaking place.
Oh
Tearing
my
the fucking
god.
place. I mean.
She's I she's
Okay.
brilliant.
I just
She's
said
so
fuck you. Oops.
what?
I just said the F bomb. Oops.
Oh, don't you know it.
Again.
No,
We'll just edit that later. Not.
she's
What is her name?
talented. What?
What is her name?
Jill Marie Burke.
She commands the stage. There's
Yeah.
no joke.
She sings the national anthem at the Anaheim Angels games. Like she's legit. She
That's her. She looks familiar because guess who's an Angels fan?
Oh, okay.
It catches that an Angels fan eating Hoff's hot dogs now and having a brewski maybe here and there between the game. I
Well,
love
you've probably
Angels.
seen her sing the anthem.
Perhaps, yeah. My wife and I'm gonna ask her. She's out there somewhere. So you were just phenomenal. I saw like you made the whole thing. You made the whole thing look effortless. By the way, it's seamless.
Oh, thank
Just
you.
boom, boom, boom. You're a bass player. It's just kind of in your element. Just kind of like rocking out, smiling at people. Photos. You got a lot of camera people there.
Yeah.
It was really, really like, as you can see, I don't get out of the house much. My wife and I were like, wow, this is what this looks like. We thought there was 3 clubs in one.
I don't know what I'm not sure where the name Three Clubs comes from. I have no idea. That place has been there for a million years, so it's like an old Hollywood staple, but they just redid it and redid that whole live music room. It used to be a lot smaller and like not near as nice, not as nice of a stage, but they're really trying to like be like the new live music hotspot in Hollywood. So, and a
And
bunch
that
of
they
live
are.
music. Yeah, yeah, and a ton of live music venues have closed, sadly. So it's nice to
Yeah.
have like a new good place to play.
So let's talk about, since we're here, let's delve into a little bit about music. Um, the Breakfast Club. I mean, that's like near and dear to my heart. You don't know how many times I watched The Breakfast Club, the
It's so
movie.
good.
It's so good, right? I
Yeah.
mean, okay, so who's your favorite character in the movie? Let's go there.
Oh, I mean, Molly Ringwald, every girl, I should
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
loves Molly Ringwald. But I mean, they're all great. They all bring their own thing to it, you know.
Well, how about Ali Sheedy?
She's
Ali Sheedy
amazing.
is phenomenal because she could
Yeah.
play like this basket case,
Yeah.
and then suddenly she comes alive and it's like jovial and stuff,
Yeah.
and you're like, holy shit! Like the
Yeah.
nuance in that was really really cool. It was brilliant. And then Judd Nelson kind of carries the movie, with his whole deal, and later it turns out like he's got it really bad at home. Basically,
Yeah.
everyone has it bad.
Yeah.
You don't know what people are going through. So I really enjoyed that. So was that part of the reason why you guys went with the Breakfast Club, which is brilliant idea, by the way?
Well, we had another name. We were called New Dissidents,
Right.
but that didn't reflect, you know, we're like a fun 80s cover band. And that name was just, nobody could say it right. Like people would introduce us as the wrong name always. We kind of weren't really getting the traction we wanted as like a fun 80s cover band. It sounds more like I don't know, like a metal band or something. So we just decided to do some rebranding and like just try to make the whole thing like a little more fun and upbeat and the name memorable and something people can pronounce. And so,
Yeah, because when David was on my show, that's what you guys were called. I didn't necessarily have a problem with it, to be quite
mm,
frank with you. I think but I thought when you rebranded yourselves to the Breakfast Club, it hit home for me. Like that was holy moly. Like, dude, I watched that movie like a million
yeah.
times at least. And I
Yeah,
watched it
it's
twice
so
this week.
nostalgic, and
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
instantly know, oh, we play mostly we throw a few current songs and 90s
Yeah.
songs in, but you know instantly what we play versus like you don't know what New Dissidents does. So
I'm wondering, like, I'm hearing you out right now, and it's like
mhm.
I'm just thinking thoughts are percolating in my head, and I'm just wondering, like, so it begs the question, like, when are you guys gonna write your own material, or is it just gonna be just the cover band? The reason why I'm saying that, there's a reason behind. I know it, I get it, it's a cover band, but you guys are just extremely talented. It would be a freaking cardinal sin if you guys didn't write a song or two.
I agree. David and I have actually written a few original songs that we're working on
Okay.
squeezing in there. But we all kind of come from different musical backgrounds, and I actually was in original bands for years and years. That was like the avenue I wanted to do. And then I realized cover bands are really fun. So and you get paid. So, it's like it's a better situation. But I
I
love
do right now for you guys. It works
yeah,
out
but
perfect.
I do love to write and I want to write. And I would love to like, throw a couple originals in there here and there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that's smart. Like that ought to be something that, obviously, we're gonna be immortalized in this video. So this will stay for people to to probably want to bring up at some point, hey,
mhm.
by the way, nudge, nudge, like perhaps we should write some material, or
Yeah.
it'll happen. I'll be like, I was part of the reason why you know what I mean? I had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, we talked about music a little bit. Let's go back a little bit, backtrack and peel layers on your acting career.
Okay.
So when you were young, you did theater and whatnot, but like, what was the catalyst? What was like the driving force for you to continue down that pathway?
I just wanted to do it for as long as I can remember. I saw a play when I was really young and I fell in love with theater. And I used to make all the neighbor kids be in these little plays I would write or work on. And I just always knew I hated the weather in Washington. I'm a sunshine, hot weather person. So
SoCal, baby.
I know. So I always wanted to get out of Washington, get out of the rain, get to California, get to the sunshine, get to Hollywood. That was just, I always knew that was my path.
Yeah.
So here I am.
And here you are, and here you are to stay, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So what is let's see, what's the thought process like when you're gonna go into an audition? Like, how do you do, like, some people have like a good like charm, or do you eat an Epsom salt, or like freaking, do you have like this thing where you chant a few thousand times before you go on an audition? No?
No, I put in the work, and most auditions now post-COVID are self-tapes. We film them at home and send them off to the ether. And although some commercials have started back up in person, which is great. I love in-person auditions.
Okay, let me ask you, why is that the case for you anyway? And I will have to agree with you, by the way, and I'll tell you why it is for me as well.
Well, first and foremost, you get direction and get feedback. Like, I think all of my in-person auditions, you get hey, just do it again, but a little more this way or that way. And it's an instant tweak that you can make. Whereas you can work on it at home and send it off, and you have no idea if you miss the mark or not. Plus there's the connection you make with somebody, in the room, meeting them. I think you have a better, if they're like, hey, she's really good, she's really cool, we had a nice talk, she seems like she'd be great to work with on set, she wouldn't be annoying, she's not right for this, but I'm going to keep her in mind. Whereas when you send a self-tape off, all that's lost as well. Anybody can have it. I don't know how people cast off self-tapes, because we can literally film it 100 times till we get it right. So I don't know how somebody could really know if you're going to be capable of delivering on set or not, if they actually met you in person. But hey, I'm not the director calling the shots, but I don't know how people actually make a choice from that.
Yeah. So you just basically checked off all my boxes. That's exactly what I was thinking. And a lot of it is common sense, by the way. But what you're saying makes so much sense, because I still don't know. Like, I've done a few online, like self-tapes here at home. And I haven't, that's why I'm still here, because I'm waiting. It's just so, you're right. Like, when you go there, you meet people. You're like cordial with folks, and then you meet others. And then people probably, they latch on to you just gel with them, and then they like your style, or they'll give you that feedback. Hey, why don't you try it this way? Hey, you know what? You get most likely a callback out of that, or at the very least, you know that they like your work.
Yeah, and you meet the assistant who's going to be a future casting director or something else in the business. And, it's just, and like seeing fellow actors, you get, you start seeing some of the same friendly faces, and people are mostly really nice actually at auditions. I know actors have a reputation of whatever, but for the most part, the people you see at auditions are really nice, and you kind of like meet your crew, and you have your audition friends, and I miss that. I really miss that.
Oh yeah, but there's no audition friends when you do it out of the house. It's almost like you feel like it's void almost,
Yeah.
You're just kind of like almost like pre COVID, or when COVID started, and you were told that this is how it's going to be, and there's like a green room, and you're like basically in another chat room, and then they call you from the chat room, and you're thinking, is this really going to be a thing? And then years later, lo and behold, we're still here. Let's talk about your musical influences when you're growing up. Like, what is the music that you would say sort of?
I have cat hair in my contact. One sec. Okay, I think I got it out.
What are your musical like influences, or who do you look up to? from ladies and guys and whatnot, people that played growing up? Like, who are your musical influences?
Well, I grew up loving Nirvana. I was obsessed with Nirvana. I loved Rancid, Social Distortion, all those kind of like pop
Yeah,
punk bands. I was super into all of them. Um, my family wasn't musical. Like my family, I don't come from an artistic family um,
that you know of.
that I know of. That's um, I
You're
mean,
like, give us a few pints of that, of whatever alcohol that guy's having, and we're all probably gonna come undone,
this.
unravel, unspooled.
But
Huh?
my parents did appreciate art and appreciate music. We grew up listening to like a lot of Beatles. But yeah, it was I was really into punk and grunge, or pop punk, I should say.
So like,
Real punks would be like, Rancid's not punk, Green Day's not punk,
remember that? You remember that? That's funny. You're a '90s person, just like
Oh,
me.
yeah.
So in high school, like Nirvana was huge, and
Yeah.
then like then obviously Kurt Cobain died, and then they were extinct, and then like I think Pearl Jam was huge, and
Yeah.
then my favorite was like the metal of that era per
Mhm.
se. For me, anyway, has got to be Alice in Chains. I just love
Oh,
Alice in Chains.
so good.
Alice in Chains, right?
So
It's got
good.
all the components, everything lined up with kind of the mood of that whole grunge,
Yeah.
plus meets something like more 80s,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
both
So
together. It's great fusion, great fusion.
yeah.
Um, and that's awesome. So yeah, I remember that, like with Green Day, oh, that's so poppy, because I was also, obviously being SoCal cat, like Social Distortion is Fullerton band,
Love.
Social D, as we call it.
Yes.
And like all the Dixies, like the freaking oh no, the Dickies, sorry, the Dixies
Yeah.
are a different band, sorry guys. The Dickies, and then it was like Minor Threat, and you mentioned Rancid, the Misfits, and on, bands like that were like really mark you, they change you, they really dictate the way you're gonna be, as you get older.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
had like the nose piercing. I did have my ears pierced, but
Okay.
that was the thing here in LA. It's just an LA thing back in the day. Now everybody has their ears pierced, like no big deal.
Yeah.
Um, so when you're let me ask you this. So when you want to unwind, like on a just take any day for that matter, and you just kind of want to relax and unwind, what is some of the music you tune into, and also like what are some of the decompressing sort of like coping mechanisms or whatever you do, like
Coping mechanism.
yeah, the world is a crazy place after all, right?
Well, I love wine.
Okay.
That would be my coping mechanism. Wine. Um, I'm trying to think of what mellow. Oh, who's mellow that I love is Mazzy Star. She's just amazing. And then I
Now
also love, yeah, Lana Del Rey. I love for mellow music. Um, they're not mellow, but I'm super into Volbeat right now. I don't know if you know them, but I love them. But that's more like pump you up music than mellow you
yeah,
out music.
yeah. So you
Um,
into some EDM also? Do you like electrical what's it,
really, yeah, I never got into that.
house and none of that stuff? No.
No.
Oh, metal. Did you like heavy metal? You obviously did, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like cheesy metal, like Poison, but Def Leppard, I wouldn't call them cheesy. They're pretty amazing musicians,
Yeah.
but I didn't really like the real metal. I liked more the like 80s hair metal.
Right, like where everything was just a good time, basically. It
Yeah,
wasn't like we weren't talking about core freaking problems, family at the table, dinner problems. We're talking about having a good time and getting drunk and high and then going
yeah,
party, jump in the pool, like all that poison stuff. I get it
yeah.
completely,
That's
totally.
what I love. Yeah,
Like
it's just
Motley Crue was kind of like that at some point, and then,
Mhm.
but they were kind of on the cusp of metal also, right?
Yeah.
Like hard rock.
I gotta tell you, I saw them live like a year ago, and
Mhm.
they were awful. They
Yeah.
were so bad live. I was like, "What happened? What am I seeing?" I
Yeah.
hate to bag on any musician, and I hope to be playing music forever, but oh my gosh, it was rough. It was
Really?
really rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was that show with them, Poison, Def Leppard, and Joan Jett. And Poison,
Oh,
Def
sure.
Leppard, Joan Jett were all so good. Oh my gosh, they were just all three of them were so
Yeah.
good. And the
Isn't
Motley
she
Crue
she's
headlined.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, they headlined, and it was like it was very rough.
I saw them. I saw them in I saw them in like three different times back in the early 2000s when Tommy Lee got into it with Vince Neil back in the day
Right.
in the early 2000s, and he punched them or something at an airport and said, "Fuck you! I'm not gonna fuck you. Then you're out. Well, whatever." And like that kind of thing.
I missed that
And then
whole
yeah, I mean typical rock star
yeah.
ordeal. And then you had the girl who stepped in the drums was the girl in Hole. Was it the band Hole with the
Oh,
Samantha?
Samantha.
Yeah, her.
She's
She
great.
was brilliant. Oh my
Yeah,
god! And I saw them
she's
with
amazing.
her. And then years later, I saw at the place with the Glen Helen Pavilion where they did the US Festival in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Really freaking the place is just unbelievable. It's like a dust bowl. There's nothing there, right? But they set up this huge stage, and then in comes like Dio, Halford, freaking Motley Crue. I saw that for $10. That
Oh
was a good
my
show.
gosh.
That was a good show with Tommy Lee. He had rejoined the band. But yeah, you're right. I think over time, there's something to be said about some like aging rock stars that probably didn't take care of their voice so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sound like horribly, and you're thinking, oh, they're gonna be good. You know who's really good? One of my faves, as you know, Iron Maiden.
Oh, I saw them in concert a bit ago. They were amazing.
They
They're
were
so
rocking.
good.
They're still good, man. I
Yeah.
mean, just unbelievable. I mean, the vocals, the Harris's, guitar, everything. It's
Yeah.
unreal. Like
Yeah,
you're
some
like,
of them are still great. Yeah.
oh, the Scorpions are good too. If you ever want to see,
I saw them too. They crushed it.
right?
An amazing show.
Brilliant. It's just unbelievable. Now, uh, let's talk a little bit more about you. You do like small tours with your little band, your band you have, like the one with you and
Ukulele.
yeah.
We haven't yet, but I would love to. I'm sure she would love to too. We're kind of down to play, anywhere right now. I'm trying to think of the furthest we've played. Yeah, it's all been in LA.
You're like West Covina.
But we made it out to Pasadena for some shows. That's about the biggest trek we've made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a trek, all right. Shoot,
Yeah.
traffic's about 2 hours here from the valley.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so I was thinking like, how do you incorporate like the music and the funny bone, like the humor? How does that come together so beautifully, masterfully, if I may add? Because I saw some of your stuff.
I
So
think
how do
that's
you
why I love
guys do
it so much is it's like a combination of all the things I do. And we also do like a lot of improv together on stage. We banter really well together. So it's like, we write together, we do music, we do funny stuff, we do improv. It's just a really fun combination of everything. And even when I look back at like old songs I've written, like rock songs, they always still had like sometimes an element of humor underneath. And I love writing funny songs because you don't have to take yourself so seriously. You can write like the stupidest song ever, and usually the audience loves it. You don't have to write like some prolific, deep.
profound down?
Yeah, yeah. You can just sing about
Yeah.
boobs, So we have a really good time. Like it's so much fun.
Yeah, I think we make fun of like little things like farts and poop and shit like that. I mean, no pun
And then
intended.
if you get two girls singing about it, it goes over very well. We'll like
Love
do
it.
harmony about poop, and that
You
just
guys,
like hit well. So
yeah, wow. It just that's got to be funny, man, on stage. So we definitely have to come out to check you guys out one of these days. And
yeah, for
that'll be
sure.
a lot of fun. Let's talk about Cedric the Entertainer. Tell me
Okay.
about the contest. Tell me all about it. I want to hear it.
That was so crazy. I had seen on Instagram he was having this like comedy pays contest where it was like send in a 1-minute clip to win $1,000. And I sent in a clip and totally forgot about it. Like,
Simplicity is finest.
just no recollection of it. And then I got an email like 4 months later, and I was like, wait, what is this? What? And then I was like thinking, I was like, I'm not going to actually get the money. And they like immediately sent me the money. I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm a paid comic now. So, because, you know, I
Yeah.
just done like kind of smaller stand-up shows around. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Now, were you able to meet the guy at any point?
No, I had like a very brief Zoom interview, very, very brief, but no, I did not get to meet him,
Okay.
which
So
was bad because he seems cool.
how did you learn to write comedy? I want to know everything about it, like all the nuts and bolts.
Well, I took a class at Flappers with Renee Percy, who's amazing. If you ever
Yeah.
want to take her class, oh my gosh, she's so good.
Okay.
And I've kind of written my whole life, but I didn't have any sort of joke structure or, you know, I think some of my early stuff, I just kind of rambled about tangents that I found funny, but she was really good at like putting it into like a setup punch situation. So, you know, there really is, we see comics and we think, oh my gosh, they're just so hilarious. They just stand up and talk and they're hilarious. But there's so much like legwork that goes into, you know, to like writing and rewriting and testing it and, you know, fine tuning it. And so that it looks organic and natural. But, you know, it's been written and rewritten and rehearsed. And
do you think the hecklers and like you know the folks like that work the room in the sense where like somebody says something, oh shut up, you know this, you know they make it like the Jeff Garcias. I've seen a few others that just off the cuff they come up with stuff and they riff with people and banter. I mean,
I love
I mean I would imagine that you're good at that. Have you ever tried it? Is that how your set goes?
I've just dabbled this much into it, but I haven't. There are a lot of, I kind of want to take a class specific, you know, there are crowd work classes, and I think that I want to just take that so that, you know, where obviously they can't teach you what to say, but you can learn different techniques, different, you know,
kind of how to read the room. Like,
yeah,
you know, you say like sometimes they go, oh, look at this guy. You know, he freaking tagged along. You had nothing better to do tonight, buddy. You know, that kind of thing. But it's almost like a recipe, no different than when you the setup and the punch. You know, when you I don't know, like because I've seen people do the very same thing in another show with a whole other person, and it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Like this thing is rehearsed and it's cool. Like don't pretend like you don't know. You don't follow, sir. Okay, let me slow down for you. You know, it's kind of like that same sort of recipe that he probably uses in every show with different people. So it's a talent, it's a muscle that we have to exercise, you know.
For sure.
Let's talk about, so you got theater, you got music, you got like a hodgepodge of stuff that you do.
Hodgepodge.
With all this medium, like what of all the stuff that you do you like, enjoy best, and which do you, well, I wouldn't say you're going to do least, but which one do you find that maybe I could do without?
Oh, I don't think I could do without any of them. I think I wouldn't do it. Although I will say, like, when it comes to comedy, I prefer the musical comedy duo to like my own stand-up, just because it's so much more fun to have a partner on stage and to do stuff with somebody. And also to like bounce ideas off someone. You know, I can be like, is this dumb or is this brilliant? You know, like with my own stuff, I have to sit there and write it and then go do it in front of an audience to find out if it's terrible or not, you know.
You start, here's like a no-brainer question. Okay. I'm just not trying to, it's not a trick question or anything. It's just whatever, you know. It's a throwaway here. If you had like when you first started comedy, did you start, be honest, okay, brutally honest, did you start like with your like plus one or your boyfriend or somebody? When you started, you did the first set, which is probably like a minute long or 3 minutes. Typically it's 3, right? Rule of 3. Did you do that like with friends, like 3 or 4 friends in a bedroom or with your boyfriend?
No. My first show was my first individual show was my class show at Flappers. Like that was the first time I did any stand-up for anyone. I mean, I had already done a bunch of musical comedy shows, so it wasn't like I had never been on stage doing comedy, but
Yeah.
it's still standing alone on stage, and we've all bombed. You stand there and you do your punchline and everyone just looks at you like it's the worst.
Crickets, right? Like chirp,
Yeah.
chirp, chirp. Like,
And
dude,
like
it was.
everyone's been there and everyone's gonna be there, but
It's like silences, like you have in between the intervals and stuff where people like you wait for the you punchline, you do the punchline, you kind of wait around like you just finished saying. Like, is that isn't it frightening? Like it's pretty
horrible.
frightening. It's
Yeah.
super frightening, right? Do you have to like right away put in? Do you think you right away have to like sort of go on to the next joke
I don't know. I
immediately?
mean, there's something about like that space on stage and that like
Dead silence.
yeah, like I think it's okay to take a little breathing room.
Okay. All right, because I'm ready to take the whole world by storm. I'm literally like I'm so I have the nuts and bolts of comedy. I've done, as you know, I consider myself very funny and I'm pretty funny looking, I know. But I do believe that I could do it. I'm just lazy. Here's the thing, to be quite frank with you, I don't want to travel on the world in the seven seas and only get paid like $50
Mhm.
a spot. I don't know. Like it's hard at first. You got to do all the
Yeah.
late.
Yeah,
Um,
no, there's not a lot of money there's no money in the
there's no
beginning.
money,
That's
right?
why one of the reasons I was so shocked winning that contest. I was like, "Did someone just pay me to do comedy? What is this? What's going on?"
Do you guys like work for hire? Like if somebody hires you for their birthday party?
We had talked about doing that or about writing like specific gag songs, like for
Yeah,
someone's birthday or for like
sure.
somebody's boss, like to roast them.
Yeah.
That's something we've been toying around with. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm just saying because we could promote you guys, on my show. I'm all about, fostering education, like learning, just an amalgamation of stuff that I like to do, and within all that, I love to promote and showcase my buddies on there. So let me
Awesome.
know when you want. Just link me on with, we could do a thing where I plug you in with like an Instagram thing, like a story. I usually do mostly stories. I'm just so lazy to do the
Cool.
yeah, the stories are just better. I get like way
I
more
know.
their
It's so
shit on.
much easier.
I
I know.
know.
I'm lazy at social media too.
I know. It's like TikTok is. I found that TikTok. I went down the rabbit hole too. You have some pretty cool TikToks. So
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. I think TikTok is great in many ways, specifically with music, because
Mhm.
like if you have to remember this, like we're intertwined with the whole world, literally through
Yeah,
the
yeah.
internet. So people get to hear this stuff and friggin' on top of a camel somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. That's
You know?
that's one of the things I love about it is like following people from halfway around the world and vice
Right.
versa. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, we're kind of winding down here and like literally, we're basically going to bring it to a close, but
Oh,
I want you to also just tell the millions of viewership that we have on right now. What are your social handles, your social media handles, and what do you call it? Yeah, where can people find you and find your
um,
work?
yeah, I'm on Instagram at Carla Betz. That's Carla with a C, Betz, Betz. That's like my main social media that I use. I'm trying to build TikTok. Same
Yeah,
handle there at Carla Betz. The band is The Breakfast Club, and Songs That Embarrass Our Families is Songs That Embarrass Our Families.
simplicity at its finest. Hey,
Yeah,
say
and
the
we're on
Breakfast Club with some conviction.
Songs That Embarrass Our Families, and we're on Instagram as well as YouTube. So.
So when are you guys gonna play again in Hollywood or Hollyweird or here in
You know,
LA?
I have literally nothing booked with anybody right now. It's crazy. I feel like I've never not had a show on the calendar, and I actually have nothing on the calendar today. I'm sure that'll change soon, but as of today, I have nothing booked.
Like, it's par for the course,
Yeah,
I don't really have much going on the calendar right now.
yeah,
It
yeah,
happens. I think a lot of it, it's funny because wouldn't you agree with me? The idea that it's only February, right? And
yeah.
it's like it's nuts because any other year, we wouldn't have like a busy schedule. Think
Yeah.
of that. And the only reason why, because we got the fires, we had
Yeah.
planes coming down like galore. It's just
Yeah.
sad
It's been
and
a lot.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've gone through a lot. It's like typically the year should go out with the bang. Like we're coming into
Yeah.
it, hitting the ground running,
Yeah.
So it's really gnarly, but we hope that all this kind of settles and we're able to get into a routine again. And I would
Yeah.
love to come see you guys perform
Thank you.
and soon, and definitely, we'll keep our finger on that pulse, and with the Breakfast Club and your, this is really awesome. And one last thing,
Thank you.
the bass is. When did you decide you want to be a bass player? Now, why not the guitar? Why pick up the bass instead?
I actually, I played a little bit of guitar. I was really bad at it. I was just learning, and I booked a pilot about 4 girls in a band, and they cast 2 guitar players, and they said, one of you needs to learn bass. And I volunteered, and I was like, well, this is really fun. And everybody needs a bass player. There's like a million guitar players and not near as many bass players. So if you play bass, you will always like
You will
be,
shine like Carla.
yeah. So
Carla,
I
it's been a
love it.
lot of fun. It's been a
It's
lot of fun. You're fun on stage where girls like,
Thank
oh, she
you.
really enjoys it. And it's like, yeah, it's like they love what they do up there.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
a chore.
really fun. It's really fun.
It's a blast. It really is. I'll be honest with you, I've done like just impromptu stuff because I pick up the guitar occasionally. I'll
Oh,
play like stuff.
nice.
I love writing music. I come from a family of musicians,
Oh,
and my
cool.
dad, yeah, my father, and yeah, he played in the room. He never got out.
Aw,
This band never left the garage. But anyway, it's been nothing but fun. Carla, this is it for us. I hope to bring you back on the show
thank
live,
you.
and maybe we could do the studio session at some point.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Awesome.
All
Thanks
right,
for
Carla.
having me.
Take care of yourself. All right, guys. That's my show at Almost Famous and Juicy Divas Confessions of a Limo Driver. I'm yours truly, Jim Francis Mesa. You can follow me on jimfrancismesa.com. Google me, whatever. Just don't follow me home. Bye, Carla. It was such a
Bye.
pleasure. Take care of yourself.
Take
Carla
care,
Betz,
you
ladies and
too.
gentlemen. Take it away.
Bye.